toll on the players and all that other stuff. But the BCS, I was a BCS voter for about 5 years. I was a Harris poll voter. I tried to be as objective as I possibly could, but you know that there are biases. You know that you want to see your teams for your conference doing well. So I don't think it's a perfect system. It seems to have worked out okay, but I think this year we're going to get in its final year a major controversy, assuming that Florida State wins here and Ohio State beats Michigan State, and then I think Auburn or Missouri could have a big argument against them.
Being a former voter, how difficult is it sometimes trying to decipher who's the top team when some of them might have the same record? There's arguments of strength of schedule. How tough is that?
It's very tough, and it's also tough, like when you're discussing the Heisman awards too. You want to take a look at who the kids beat, who they played, how important a role they played in their team winning. Because I always took those votes very seriously as well. I want to make sure that I get it right, and it's very difficult. And I just think they have this whole new panel that's being put together for playoffs and all that other stuff. Well, I wouldn't want to be a part of that. Just the amount of money that's up for grabs for these championship teams is just insane. It's sometimes the money you don't see. When the University of Maryland in 2001 won the national basketball championship, the amount of money that comes in from alum to the booster clubs and everything else, that's never seen. But all of a sudden, the morale is high. People want to give money to the school, and that money is big. So there's more to it than just the actual game itself behind the scenes.
Boomer, after you were done with your playing days, you jumped into the broadcast booth, some radio. What are some of the biggest differences from obviously being up in the press box and watching the game to being on the field and playing?
Well, when you're high up, you see everything. And it's easy to criticize. It's easy to say, I wouldn't have done that, but you kind of remember where you came from, and you recognize that, I did make those same mistakes. So when you're doing a college game, I'm not nearly as critical because they're kids, and they're playing a game that they love. They have scholarships, they're not getting paid for it. So I appreciate the struggle there. But when you're a pro and you're making 10, 20, 15 million, whatever it is, you've got to perform each and every week. That's what that contract says. And when you're not performing, you have to be able to withstand the criticism that somebody like me would bring. And I just try to be honest. I try to tell the fans what I think, and most of the time I'd like to think I'm right.
All right, but before we let you go here, Boomer, and enjoy the rest of the festivities, give us something on what's going to happen tomorrow night. Give us a prediction. Give us something.
I could see Jameis Winston just coming out and having a crowning achievement game, especially after the news that we heard yesterday about him not being charged, which is good, which is a good thing, and now he can play with a clear head, and I think Heisman voters can have a clear head and vote for him now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he runs away with that award as well. So I think this is a huge opportunity for him on the national stage to make a big imprint on a lot of voters. And then the other side, for Duke, I've been an underdog in a lot of games, and I've won as an underdog, and I know that Coach Cutcliffe is probably in there telling them it's us against the world, guys. Nobody believes we can win, and if we win this game, it may be the biggest upset in the history of college football.
It will be huge.
When you think about it, and you think about the opportunity that those kids have, and that nobody would have thought that they would have won 10 games, I think it's a great story that if it gets the exclamation point tomorrow night, watch out. It could be a great story moving forward.
All right, well, thank you very much to Boomer Esiason, and watch the ACC Championship game on Saturday.
There you go. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Can you talk about how much the ACC's changed since you played? There was no championship games and all the different things that have gone on.
Well, I can tell you right now, there was no Virginia Tech, there was no Syracuse, there was no Pittsburgh, there was no Boston College, right? There was no Miami. So we've changed a lot, and it's grown and changed over the years, but it's still a great conference. And unfortunately for us at Maryland, it's melancholy. We're not going to be a part of it anymore moving forward to the Big Ten, and a lot of it has to do with finances in these days. And the money that has really grown at the end of the rainbow for all of these teams and these schools has just been insane, and it really has a lot to do with television exposure that we never had when we played.
Can you talk to, does it make you sad to see them getting out, or do you think that's a good opportunity
Well,
for them?
I think it's a great opportunity for us, especially a financial opportunity, which the school desperately needed. The athletic program has been in the red for many years since we expanded our stadium in 2008, which was the downturn, and we really have been struggling since then. But the fact of the matter is, much like Boston College and Syracuse coming to the ACC and Pittsburgh coming to the ACC, us and Rutgers going to the Big Ten is a financial boon for us, and it should be. And it should, we should be able to sustain moving forward and growing like all these other schools want to do in their particular conferences. So it's a sad day for us, especially for me with all my memories here, but a day that I figured was going to end up coming sooner or later. We might as well, take it straight on.
Your thought of all the legends coming back and being honored?
It's great. It's when you're in your 50s and they tell you you're a legend, then you're getting old. So I'm just happy to be here.
Well, I'm 55, so I feel the same way you do.
Thank you very much.